Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So we have started studying the chapter 13, that is your database concepts. So in the previous session we had done the introduction to what is a data, what are the different kinds of data, what is information, what is the just an overview of a DBMS. So in today's class we are going to learn two main important things. One is data types of DBMS. The other thing what we are going to learn is the very important point of this chapter, that is features of database systems. Okay, so let us start with the very first one, that is the data types of DBMS. So when I say data types of DBMS, there are roughly about 10 of them. Let us start with the first one. The very first one is an integer. Now this is something which we have come across in many programming languages, isn't it? Now what does it do? It holds the whole number without fraction. Next we have single and double precision. These are nothing but holding the float type of a variables. Okay. Next we have logical data types. Now this is nothing but to hold the boolean values, that is your true and false. Next we have characters, which includes letters, numbers, spaces, symbols and punctuation. Basically it will hold a single character. Next we have strings. Now strings is nothing but sequence of characters more than one. Okay, so it has two types: fixed length, that is varying from 0 to 63 kilobyte, where in which your dynamic string length range from 0 to 2 billion characters. So remember this, fixed and dynamic. Next we have memo data type. Now all the above five types of data type, which something which we have seen in many programming languages which we have studied, like in your C, C++. What is this memo data type? Usually when we say memo, it is nothing but a note, isn't it? Something written, a paragraph or something like that. So here in database, such data type is also allowed, where in which you want to write kind of a memo or a note. Okay, so it stores more than 255 characters. A memo field can store up to 65,536 characters. Long documents can store OLE objects. Now what is this OLE objects? Here the OLE object stands for object linking and embedding. Okay, so it is nothing but your object linking and embedding. So these in the DBMS, actually in some kind of a DBMSs, it is also permitted to store the object kind of a data, that is object kind of a the object which we have already studied in our classes. An object, there are certain kind of a object types of a data also can be stored in a object related database systems. Okay, so that is when I say OLE object, it is object linking and embedding. Okay, so memo types of a data types can store long documents such as OLE objects, right? Because we know that objects might have more, because they refer to the class. A class can have a different variants of data members, and it can have a different variants of member functions. Hence when I say an object, it can be quite lengthy. Okay, and a memo data type supports these kind of a data type. And then next we have is index fields. Now what is this index field? They are used to store relevant information among with the documents. The document input to an index field is used to find those documents when needed. So indexing is just like the index what you have in your record books. Okay, so if I have when you say an index page, what does that represent? So you have your program number, you have your program name. For example, if it is ABC, then you have page number, isn't it? It is, you can find it in page number 2. This is usually called as index page. So indexing, again, to understand in a layman term, it is nothing but a guide which will give me an information that where my data is stored. Just like this program is stored in this page number. Here, see, to find those documents, in order to find the documents when needed, we will use such type of a fields. They are called as index fields, right? The program provides up to 25 user definable index fields in an index set. So this is another different kind of a data type which you have come across in DBMS. One more thing is currency fields. Okay, a currency field accepts data in dollars form by default. Okay, so this is another data type. Next, the last one, we have text fields. So it accepts data as alphanumeric text string, like a normally text file where you can have numbers as well as characters. So it will have text field. So we have seen totally 10 types of data types here: integer, single and double precision, logical data types, characters, strings, memo data type, index fields, currency fields, data fields, and text fields. Okay, so this is about just quick introduction to which are the different data types in the DBMS. Now, before we get on to the important features of a database system, let us just see an overview of a database management system. What is it about? Okay, so our DBMS is a software. What is a DBMS? A database management system is a software that allows creation, definition and manipulation of the database. So we have seen that a database is nothing but collection of related data. So if I am able to create, define and manipulate a database using certain software, then I will call it as a database management system. Like the name it says, a management system with which a system with which I'm managing the database is nothing but a database management system. So it is a software that allows creation, definition and manipulation of the database. So DBMS is actually a tool used to perform any kind of operations on the data in the database. So in the coming sessions, we will be learning what are these different operations. As of now, understand that it can be creation, definition, manipulation. That is nothing but I am adding the data, I am changing the data, I am editing the data. All those things are nothing but the operations which I am performing on the data. DBMS also provides protection and security to the database. It maintains data consistency in case of multiple users. Okay, so protection, that is whatever the data I have saved, that has to be protected and it also has to be secure. And also, if many people are using the same database, there shouldn't be a duplicate data. Okay, consistency of the data should be there. That is also is taken care by the database management system. Okay, so now let us go ahead and see the very important topic, that is features of the database management system. So these are the main features of database management system, that is centralized data management, controlled data redundancy, enforcing data integrity, data sharing, ease of application development, data security, multiple user interfaces, backup and recovery. Let us see them one by one. The very first thing is centralized data management. So what do you understand by centralized data management? The centralized nature of a database system provides several advantages which overcome the limitations of the conventional file processing system. Okay, so what do you understand by conventional file system? So if you see here, when I say centralized, I have a database stored somewhere here and many people are able to access it simultaneously. Okay, when multiple um people are able to access the database simultaneously, it gives us lot of advantages, right? So data is stored at a central location and is shared among the multiple users. So this is nothing but central. When I say centralized data management, you can say it will allow a multiple user to access the data at the same time. This is a very big feature, okay, compared to our normal file based approach. Next is controlled data redundancy. So what is this controlled data redundancy? Various files are integrated and each logical data item is stored at a central location. During the database design, okay, what is happening is various files are integrated and each logical data item is stored at a central location. This eliminates replicating the data item in different files and ensures consistency and saves the storage space. The redundancy in the database system cannot be eliminated completely, as there could be some performance and technical reason for having some amount of redundancy. However, the DBMS should be capable of controlling this redundancy in order to avoid data inconsistencies, right? So this is about controlled data redundancy. Next we have enforcing data integrity. So in database approach, enforcing data integrity is much easier. So data integrity refers to the validity of the data and it can be compromised in a number of ways. Data integrity constraints can be enforced automatically in DBMS, and others may have to be checked by the application programmer. So when I say data integrity, it is nothing but it is a truthfulness of the data. Data should be accurate, okay, it should be retrievable, it should be complete and verifiable. That is when a data integrity happens. I can say that my data, whichever I have collected, has the integrity, right? And enforcing that is one of the main feature of the DBMS. DBMS has the feature which enforces the data integrity, right? Next is data sharing. The data stored in the database can be shared among multiple users, which we have seen in the first feature itself, okay, or application programs. Moreover, new applications can be developed to use the same stored data. Due to stored data, it is possible to satisfy the data requirements of the new applications without having to create any additional data or with minimal modification. So that is again, once again, a very big feature of an DBMS, database management system, wherein which we don't have to repeatedly do the work again and again. Next comes is ease of application development. The application programmer need to develop the application programs according to the user's needs. The other issues like concurrent access, security, data integrity, etc. are handled by the RDBMS itself. This makes the application development an easier task. So here when I say RDBMS, it is nothing but Relational Database Management System. R stands for relational. Okay, that is one kind of a data model which we will be learning in the coming sessions. So this is about ease of application development. So RDBMS and DBMS helps us easily develop the uh, applications because they are going to take care of all these important tasks for us. So programmer need not bother or worry about all those things. It is taken care. All he need to do is develop the application, right? Next we have is data security. Since the data is stored centrally, okay, that's the main feature what we have seen. Enforcing the security constraint is much easier. So when I say constraint, it is nothing but certain limitations I am putting here. The RDBMS ensures that the only means of access to the database is through an authorized channel only. Hence, the data security checks can be carried out whenever access is attempted to sensitive data, right? To ensure security, an RDBMS provides security tools such as user codes and passwords. Different checks can be established for each types of access. So that can be addition, modification, deletion, etc. to each piece of information in the database. So every time somebody wants to update or delete or modify, we can provide a security check like a password. Okay, with that we can ensure the security. Next we have is multiple user interface. So what is this multiple user interface? In order to meet the needs of various users having different technical knowledge. For example, you might be accessing certain database through mobile, somebody might be accessing through um, a laptop or a desktop. So different interfaces. Okay, so DBMS provides different types of interfaces such as query language, application program interface, and graphical user interface that include form styles, menu driven interfaces. Form style interface displays a form to each user and user interacts through the forms. In menu driven interfaces, the user interaction is through lists of options known as menus. So what do you understand by this? Okay, so when I say query language is nothing but somebody who is aware of the SQL, such type of a query languages, he can directly access the database. Suppose you are a user who doesn't know SQL, and for example you are trying to access the Google database. What you do is just you go to the Chrome, okay, in the Google you type, isn't it? So this is nothing but your graphical user interface, or once you type you will get a different menus here. This is nothing but your menu driven interface. Okay, so see here, application program interface. For example, you are accessing a bank data, your own data you are trying to access using a bank app, using your phone. So that bank app becomes an application program interface. Graphical user interface, that includes form styles and menu driven, that you can take it an example of a Google form. Okay, once you type in the Google, you will get a different list of options which you want to select. Okay, so that is nothing but your menu driven or such kind of interfaces. So depending on the user, there can be a different kinds of interfaces. That again is provided by the DBMS, which helps the user a lot. Last but not least is our backup and recovery. The RDBMS provides backup and recovery subsystem that is responsible for recovery from hardware and software failures. So RDBMS or your DBMS provides us with the backup as well. So these are the main important features, students. So depending on the marks, you will be writing the content. If it is asked for more marks, you will have to elaborately explain each one of them. Okay, like we did it in today's class. So once again, what are the different features of the database system? Centralized data management, controlled data redundancy, enforcing data integrity, data sharing, ease of application development, data security, multiple user interfaces, backup and recovery. Very important topic, right? So that's all in today's session, students. Hope these videos are helping you all in your studies. So keep learning, keep watching.